Jim McRitchie. Welcome to the OneQi project. Thank you for coming along.
Thank you for the invitation.
No problem at all. So, would you like to introduce yourself to the viewers of the OneQi project and maybe tell us how you found Qigong, or how did Qigong find you, maybe?
Well, I think I should say that I was an acupuncturist for now. It gets longer and longer the further away you get. But astonishingly, 43 years I've been in practice, which is a great surprise to me. And because I graduated in 1977. So I was in practice in London for 3 years. And then I moved to Colorado, Boulder in Colorado. I married an American, lady, and we moved there because that's where she came from and her folks were there. And we were only supposed to be there for like 1 year. It was a sabbatical. But we ended up there. Well, we didn't stay together over the whole time, but 33 years I was in Boulder. And then I moved back to Liverpool, so I'm now in Liverpool, UK. But I spent like 5 years at the acupuncture college under J.R. Worsley, and then before I moved, and then 3 years after I'd been in Boulder, I got this flyer through the door, and this flyer announced a workshop by this Chinese teacher coming into town called Mantak Chia in Qigong. And I went, I remember the sensation, now it was kind of like a while ago. And I looked at this piece of paper and I thought, this is it. This is what I was looking. This is what I needed. This is Qigong. And the fact was that in the 5 years before that, and all the time in London, and I was involved in the New Age movement, holistic health, alternative healing, and the big symposiums and everything, conferences I had. The word Qigong had not entered into my ear or in front of my eyes. So it was like 1983, 84, where I finally saw this, and I thought that's what I was after all along. Well, it just came through the letterbox, and I went and did this program. So previous to that, I'd been I ran an organization in London called the Natural Dance Workshop, and this was based upon non-stylized dance in the style of Anna Halprin, who I trained with in San Francisco. And it was non-stylized dance combined with humanistic psychology and group dynamics as a form of social art. And it was like, it said natural, so you didn't have to be a certain size or shape or age, or, your daddy didn't have to be a doctor or whatever. So I was already teaching non-stylized movement in all these different forms. And throughout Europe, because it became hugely successful, we used to tour and stuff. And combined with lecturing about the 5 elements and about acupuncture and about the energy system and showing people where the meridians were, because I was already in acupuncture practice. And I realized later I was actually teaching Qigong, so nobody told me what it was. I said, okay, now we're all going to do these movements. Now grab the Qi and bring it in, and do this. And it was interesting that in 2005, I took a group of 20 people to China with my wife at the time, second wife, Damaris Jiabo, and a Chinese teacher called Ming Tong Gu. And he was teaching Dr. Peng's kind of style. And we were there for 3 weeks. And Ming Tong was doing all of these exercises in groups, and everyone gets in the middle and we all put our energy into them, and then you lie down. And I thought, I've been here before. this is what I used to do. It was so familiar.
Oh.
And he was calling it Qigong, and I call it natural dance.
So tell us what it is that you like so much about Qi then.
One of the translations that I have come up with, I mean, my concern is kind of multi-leveled, in the sense there's not much else going on in my life these days. I'm not kind of like painting pictures or in a rock and roll band or doing theatre or anything. I mean, this is what I do pretty full time. The translation that I'm concerned with, how does this get out to people? I know what I do myself. I've been doing this for some decades, and I mean, I've met all kinds of teachers. I've been to a dozen international conferences. I was involved with the National Qigong Association in the USA for 15 years. I mean, and so I know the question for me now is, how do you get it out there? How do people learn about this? I mean, what happens? And the name I've kind of like given to that for myself is, which might resonate with people, is social Qigong. You don't see that very often, but it's kind of implicit in what people are doing. They want to teach people, they want to get it out there, they want to talk about it, and all the rest of it. And social Qigong, and on another term would be community Qigong in your local community. And so I'm trying to translate from the Chinese into the English, because there's a big problem with the Q and the I. People can't pronounce it. As we all know, it's its own worst problem. It was easier when it was spelled Chikung, which is the title on the 3 books I wrote in the 10-year period. I had these books, and they were all Chikung. But the Chinese, the weight and power of the Chinese government, at least where I'm looking at it, is Qigong as one word. We all know there's different spellings and different countries, and Japanese and Vietnamese and everything. But if you look at the word Qigong, what it translates as on one level is Qi means energy and Kung means work. So it can translate as working with energy. And another translation would be vitality. Qi means vitality, and Kung could mean developing. And yet the one that I like, and the thing is like the subtitle of some of my books and things, is that Qi means life. It's actually the life inside us. Mm-hmm. And Kung would mean cultivating. So if you were looking at those 3 possibilities, you could say Qigong means working with energy, developing vitality, or cultivating life. Mm. And the little description of that is, the more energy, the more life. The better your energy, the better your life. So that's kind of what is important. I mean, it's life itself is what I'm saying. It's not kind of like to try and introduce this foreign Chinese word into this Western culture. I mean, and I'm in Liverpool. I don't know if you know Liverpool. You know Liverpool? You've been to Liverpool?
A little bit.
I mean, it's rough and ready. It's tough. It's the New York of Europe. It's kind of like, funky. It's fun. It's on the street, at least where I live, downtown. And, if you're going to communicate what this is and inspire people and get through to medical professionals, doctors, the NHS, I've converted the name into the name of my organization now, which is, instead of, the Qigong school, I call it the personal energy center.
Okay.
That's what people understand. That's what people get. That's what people want. Personal energy. So when you say, you know, I do personal energy, they go, yeah, more, give me. That's what I want.
So I'm gathering, Jim, that from what you're saying, then you probably don't work with one particular kind of lineage form, then, do you, or do you?
I have developed over, well, probably 1985, so probably about 35 years.
Mm-hmm.
Over the course of teaching 9-month programs, sometimes multiple times a week, like 2 or 3 classes a week, and accumulating and developing, I've developed something that I call the 8 Extraordinary Meridians Qigong. Now, from a technical point of view as an acupuncturist, the 8 Extraordinary Meridians are not really discussed or described very well in the acupuncture clinical treatment. There's a few teachers that specialized in it. From a clinical point of view, from a Qigong point of view, I mean, I hardly hear anyone mention them. They just mention it in passing. They kind of give a little nod to it, but no one's really dived in. There's a few people, I mean, David Twicken and Chip Chase and Mickey Shima wrote books about it. Claude Larrey, you know, there's a few things out there. But I look at them and I don't learn anything new, you see. Because what I concluded is that I was studying this, first of all, with Mantak Chia for probably over a 5-year period, because there was no one else around. Who else was there about? I mean, in the US, there was Ni Hua Ching, Master Ni, and there was Yang Qing Ming in Boston, but that was a long way away. And Mantak Chia was coming into town. I was putting him up. He was staying with me. I was putting his workshops on, and you know, Gunther Weil and Michael Wynn. And so, you know, I had kind of access to that. And then that kind of had all of these components. And Chia, like, how does a lineage develop? A lineage develops in a number of different ways. One is through literature.
Yeah.
Well, there are books. Another is through training systems. You do this style, you do this style. And another system that happens, that I've concluded, is this transmission. I mean, this is very mysterious stuff. I mean, let's kind of like not just look at the, oh, well, how do we teach people how to, you know, do some practices and all of this. This is like borders on the edge of the, you know, metaphysical, what happens. And I believe that certain people get transmission from their teacher. And I think Chia was one of those people, Mantak Chia. And I think another guy, Robert Peng, you might have heard of. And you know, it's just, it gets passed down in a slightly different way. So what I understood was I was learning all this stuff and I was thinking, oh, hang on, what are they calling it? Fusion 1 and Fusion 2 and Fusion 3. And I thought, hang on, that's the Yang Kwai Mo, that's the Yin Wei Mo, that's the belt channel, the Du Mo, you know, that's the Ren Mo. And I translated it into acupuncture, technical anatomy and physiology of the energy system, and concluded that it was actually what they were teaching was the 8 extraordinary meridians.
Okay, I see.
So I've been developing that as a 9-month training program, which it fits into 1.5-hour classes once a week. And I've just put this into something where you start from zero, knowing nothing, and you end up being able to just activate your own system using the coupled master points, and
So
the whole thing turns on.
very good. So what would you say that you've personally gained from Qigong then?
I think that I kind of understand what I am and how I work and what to do and how to stay um, in good order.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm 73 years old and no one ever believes it. And people say, wow, you're 73. I go, no. This is what it's supposed to look like. You're supposed to be upright. You're not got nothing wrong with you that you know of. You don't taking any medicines. You can do long days and get stuff done. You know how to live your life, and it's just like that's what it's supposed to be. It's all because I live in an area where guys younger than me, 10 years younger than me, can't even walk along the road, and they're all different, strange colours, and bits are falling off, and it's just kind of disaster. I feel like I'm in a disaster zone in terms of the national health of this country.
All right, Jim. Well, you've got 2 minutes to teach something to our viewers. Then, what would you like to show us from your canon of work?
I think that if you close your eyes and clear your mind, adjust your body, adjust your breathing, turn down the high frequency beta rhythms, brainwave beta rhythms that are involved in thinking and words and numbers and language, and increase the mid-range alpha rhythms to generate a state of calm, detached awareness, so that you can focus upon the sensation of your energy system. Put your attention into your navel. Put your attention into the Ming Men opposite the navel. Put your attention into the Ba Hui point on your crown and the Hui Yin point at the perineum. These are the 4 cardinal points in the body, the 4 original points when the first cell divides into 2 and then 4. Top, bottom, front, back. And in the intersection of that, in the center of the Chongmo thrusting channel, is what they call the original Dantian, the original elixir field, the original energy center. So whichever way this makes sense to you, on the count of 3, breathe in, breathe out. Count 3, breathe out. And when you breathe in, just draw the external energy of heaven and earth in through your navel, through the Ming Men, to the Ba Hui point on your crown, down the central channel, and the Hui Yin point of your perineum up to meet in the intersection point of the true Tantian, the true elixir field. On a count of 3, and give it 3 breaths. 1, 2, 3, out. And breathe in. And again out. And in. Out. And back in. And keep your eyes closed and just kind of see if you notice at least the location of where that point is, the actual place. Because this intersection of these 4 points is actually the personal energy center. Jeremy, find a word to describe what that feels for you, a word or a phrase. What was that for you?
Deeply calming and deeply centering. Yeah, lovely.
When people say to me, where's the personal energy center? I got 2 answers. One is between the navel and the Mingmen, the Ba Hui and the Hui Yin. And if you look at the ancient charts, there's a huge blazing fire there, like the Neijing too. And the other answer is 26 Hope Street, Liverpool 1. And room number 20, ring the bell.
Jim,
I will say to people that my whole 9-month training program is available free on my website with all of the audio tracks.
wow.
You just go and get it. And the address is www.personalenergycenter.com, which is very difficult to forget. And, everything's on there. So if you would like to find out more, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Jim. That was amazing. Really nice to speak to you.